is what I seek. Did you receive?
Do you like boobs? Do you like fanny? Do you like low-budget horror movies? Do you like discussions about deconstructing religion? And do you like boobs? Well, then you might like ZOMBIECHRIST, written and directed by Bill Zebub. And with that name, you probably can guess where this movie might be heading in regards to its themes. Themes? Are there any themes? Well, let's discuss. So, this movie, which is feature-length, I should point out, and I'll come on to that, why I say that, is about these druids that resurrect the skeletal remains of Christ. Yes, Jesus is back for a second time. And, but this time, the skeleton zombie of Jesus is effectively sucking the life force and the souls out of various women, all who seem to be in some state of undress, to effectively cut off his kind of bloodline, effectively. We've got this one guy who's kind of in a Terminator-style fashion is trying to protect this one last woman. And what will happen? You'll have to watch the movie and find out. So, Bill Zebub, so he's a low-budget filmmaker that deliberately makes provocative, very schlocky, with lots of nudity, B-movies. I've actually quite enjoyed one of his movies, which was the first one I saw, Texas Chainsaw Mascara. I actually thought it was quite a surprisingly fun movie. And as such, I've been checking out some of his other films. And, you know, he has an interesting back catalogue, you might say. So, can I say anything that works in this movie's favour? It's full of boobs and fanny. If you like naked sort of alt chicks, it's like 90% that. It's basically a porn film, to be honest with you, like a softcore porn film. It doesn't shy away from, as I say, provocative material. We've got nuns in, you know, being, I guess, seduced by skeleton Jesus who is penetrating her with a chicken leg. Yes. So, you know, it's pretty much no holds barred, and it's one stone's throw away from a hardcore porn, to be honest with you. Is there a story? A very kind of broad one, maybe. The movie does try and have... Okay, so Bill Zebub obviously has a lot to say with certain things. The films that I have seen of his, he does try to deconstruct certain things. And in this one, it's clearly religion. As we have this kind of character who is protecting this woman, deconstruct the Bible effectively and try and offer an alternative version of history, I suppose. And, you know, had this been in a movie which was a little bit more intelligent, it might have been an interesting counter-argument or thesis statements, that sort of thing. But because it's in this film, I feel it really does. It's just not worth really having in there. I mean, it's a nice idea, but it's like, well, what's the point of having? You know, he has this like big like dialogue sequences going through how certain aspects of the Bible are actually, you know, according to this, not like factual, shall we say, and what really happens. And yeah, it's an interesting idea, but like, I don't know if it really fits in this film, if I'm honest. Other than that, it's kind of one of these films which there's not really any legitimate kind of point where I can tell that was really good. Everything about it is poor. But yeah, there's loads of naked women. There's lots of attractive, like, as I say, goth alternative women. Pretty much all of whom at least get into some state of undress. The actual skeletal Jesus is kind of funny. He's literally like a kind of medical skeleton, sort of with goop on it and stuff. Yeah, looks kind of funny, I have to say. And it's like, him wandering around. It's very cheap, it's very tacky. I suppose it has an element of fun. And this is one of these films. Had it been like a short, and this isn't even the first time we've had a kind of a Jesus zombie film, but if we've had a short, then I think it could have been a little bit more impactful. In actual fact, as I said, there was a film called Fist of Jesus, which was a zombie action film, and that was quite fun. But it was a short. It was about 15-20 minutes. That's what this should have been, as part of an anthology. And I don't know if you would have got away with so much nudity, but I think it would have been certainly a punchy film. Now, let's just talk about the movie in a realistic fashion. I mean, look, if you just want to watch naked women, then this is going to be the perfect movie for you. It's going to be a 10 out of 10, because that's pretty much all this film is. But we have this thing called Google, if you want to look at that. I don't really necessarily think it's worth watching a film to see lots of just naked women. And it's 90% of what this film is, and I'm not exaggerating. It's just a scene after scene of a skeleton approaching a woman, or coming across a woman, them getting their clothes off, and he either this zombie Jesus, I guess, either does something sexual to them or is like sucking their soul out. And that's it. Then we have a few scenes with this guy talking to this woman who's like the kind of like the exposition guy, I guess. And that's it. That's all the movie is. And it's like a full, an hour and a half movie of that. And it's just like, don't get me wrong. I enjoy looking at naked women. But I want, like I said, if I'm in the mood for that, there's other avenues. If I'm watching a film, I at least want a semblance of a kind of a story and characters and stuff. I mean, it's obviously not meant to be like a serious film. This is obviously just a kind of a silly, jokey film. And yeah, it's cool looking at these women for like a few minutes and stuff. But you can laugh about the effects, but let me tell you, they are extremely low budget. This is literally just someone walking around holding like as I say, a medical skeleton, and like with a camera in one hand and kind of like, holding this skeleton out in the other, and like, that's kind of all it is. That's all this movie really is. It's extraordinarily cheap. It's extraordinarily bad acting. It's extraordinarily just kind of like, unfortunately, quite mundane, because it doesn't really have a lot of substance in it. As I said, it does try and have a little bit of discussion about religion, but I think it's better suited for maybe a movie which deals with it more sort of intelligently and kind of in a mature way. And I think that maybe that could, if you want to put that message in, it will hit harder. As it stands at the moment, it's fun to watch for a couple of minutes, but if you want to watch an hour and a half of this, it's kind of like, I even feel the most ardent B-movie fans' attention would be stretched on this one. As I say, I have enjoyed Bill Zabub's more late work, his more, recent work, I suppose. But this is a 2010 movie, and, it doesn't hold much hope for his earlier stuff that I haven't watched. So, to be honest, it's an oddity. But is it good? No. It's a 2 out of 10. It just isn't very... There's nothing really to actually recommend it. So yeah, see it at your peril. 2 out of 10.